So you can see here, you've got the cristae, so a series of protein complexes within the folds of the mitochondria. You've got a bunch of proton gradients being created. Sorry, my mind just dipped for a second. You've got proton gradients being created, and what this eventually does is, passing these electrons and stuff along the complexes causes this particular enzyme to spin around. This enzyme is called ATP synthase, and so it actually is like a spinning rotor, and it produces a ton of ATP to be produced. Like, I know I just said spinning rotor, and it's like, yeah, whatever, but if you look up actual like diagrams of this protein or this enzyme complex, it actually literally spins like a rotor. It's really cool. So I said that my second year, and I was just like blown away that you've got these tiny little machines in your body. Like, think how small a single cell is, and then think how small a tiny mitochondria in that cell is, and then in the mitochondria you've got little folds, and in those teensy little folds you've got these tiny little protein complexes and enzymes, and one of those enzymes is literally a spinning rotor. I think that's so cool. Like, it's so tiny, and it's making all this energy that allows you to function. I think it's cool. Anyway, if you're interested in that, look it up on the internet, ATP synthase. I think it's super cool. And it produces all the energy we need. So you can see that electron being shuffled about along these energy carrying molecules, and it causes the turning of this ATP synthase. So ETC stands for Electron Transport Chain. It's really easy to get confused with how much we need to know about this process, but essentially we've got electron carrier molecules giving up electrons and hydrogen at the cristae of the mitochondria. The electrons are accepted by and passed along a series of electron acceptors on the cristae. You've got the interaction between electrons and protein complexes facilitating the production of ATP, and then oxygen will then capture the electrons, which then combines with hydrogen to form water. Okay? Another thing to note here is that when you're looking at your cellular respiration formula, you have the production of water. This electron transport chain is a stage at which this water is produced. So you don't actually have water being produced anywhere else. Okay, so when oxygen captures the electrons, this will then combine with hydrogen and it will form water. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also for the Krebs cycle, we know that the Krebs cycle is an aerobic process, but it doesn't actually utilize that oxygen. Okay, so the oxygen that we require in aerobic respiration is only utilized in the final stage, electron transport chain. But you can't go through the Krebs cycle unless you have sufficient oxygen. Okay, otherwise you just go through the anaerobic respiration in the cytosol of the cell. So make sure you understand that. Here's just a summary. So inputs per glucose, you've got NADH, FADH2, ADP and PI, and that oxygen. And then your outputs per glucose are NAD+, FAD, and 32 to 34 ATPs, or 6 water molecules. And this occurs in the cristae of the mitochondria. You've got lots of ATP energy being produced. I just want to make sure I've got the right amount of ATP. Okay, so it should be 26 to 28. Oh, this is the overall formula. Oh yeah, that should be fine. 26, 28. No, it should be about 32. So I might just say 32 here. I will edit that on your actual slides. You really want to keep in mind that this document here has everything you need to know about changes to the study design. So in 2022, there was a new study design created, and so this one has the updated content that you need to know. So for glycolysis, you've got 2 ATP being produced, and for Krebs cycle, we've got 2 ATP being produced as well. And then for the electron transport chain, you've got either 26 or 28 ATP being produced. So ultimately, you've got 30 to 32 ATP being produced. Yeah, so keep that in mind. And go back and check this document if you're unsure. So for our overall equation, the word equation is glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide on water, and our chemical equation is 6O2 plus C6H12O6. It's been converted, it's supposed to be an arrow, to 6 carbon dioxide and 6 water. And our total ADP yield is about 32 ATP.